Wholeness, beautiful beings, and welcome to Notes of Nara. My name is Naj Rashida. Today has been a very long day, but luckily it is towards the end of the week. This is the last full week of February 2026. If I look back 6 months ago, I was a very different person. And if I go back 6 months from then, I was also a very different person. And when I go 6 months backwards from that, very different person. So with all of these cycles and seasons, we're beings of habit. We are obsessed with doing, producing, and I think and feel in my heart, I finally come up with a system where I can breathe. There's so much. I'm just doing a lot. And I'm going to grab my little notebook here because I am the queen of notebooks. And please don't mind the mess if you see anything, because I am in the middle of moving and packing and shifting, and so there's just constant movement right now in my life, but that's okay. Going into my second year of, actually it's my 5th year, but second year in education with where I'm at right now, I've learned quite a lot. It's been a wild, crazy ride, in general. But I wanted to share something with you because there's breathing room in the tasks at hand. And I never really, I guess my relationship when it comes to organization and keeping things in order, it's not my strong suit. I think, again, like I've mentioned before, very spherically, very cyclically, so very feminine. And I like to go with the flow. I tend to have, my energy I have really big bursts of energy and then I have to recover. So if you think of like a sprint runner, right? They train, they condition the body to prepare for this sprint, or like endurance running, right? And then the body tires. And so the body has to recover, right? You go out to the gym and you're lifting weights, and you're really pushing the body hard. Well, then you have the next day off, or you change routine because the body has to readjust and it has to heal itself. Okay. And that's me. That's my work ethic. That's my flow. And right now, moving into a new season in, I'd say a new age, a new cycle in my life, I'm really beginning to pay attention to my nervous system. And that really ties into my workflow. That ties me into my relationship with my body, and thus the relationship with my body to the environment that I'm in and the environment that I tend to work in. And I've seen that over the past decade of my young adult life, I've kind of been in misalignment with working in very high stress, high demand, and kind of superficial type of very unpredictable environments. Okay, healthcare and education are like that. You go in with the game plan, you go in with an idea, you go in with your basic knowledge, basic tools, and then you get punched in the face with something that you had no clue would pop up today, right? Or in that moment. And that happened to me today. I was caught off guard. I truly was. And that happened when I worked at a hospital, right? And so going back and forth between healthcare, education, and discovering that my nervous system is not built for that. Like, as much as I had a passion for, I grew up watching ER and, Scrubs, wanting to get into medicine and to become a doctor, and then, But all the while I went down the artistic creative path and my nervous system flourished in that space, right? It's like you prepare for this huge performance and quiet. No one knows what you're doing unless they come hunting for you. Your practice room is like a cocoon, and then you go out for rehearsal, and then boom, voila, you have the big production and you work your little butt off, you sing your little butt off, and then everyone's clapping, yay, and then your judges or your professors or whoever is critiquing you, you need to do this, you need to do this better, and then you go back into the practice room. You enjoy a couple of days off, and then you go back in there, you do it all over again. We must pay attention to our nervous system when it's on overdrive. When you are stretched to the max and you're running on fumes, right? There's tasks upon tasks upon tasks upon tasks. And it's about giving breathing room to the things that need to get done. So, last year, my first year, and as a grad student ever, okay, and it'd been, oh my gosh, I got my bachelor's degree over a decade ago, okay, and and so in 2024, I said, yeah, let me get into grad school, woo, and work full time, woo, yeah, not the greatest, okay, if you're naturally built to handle all that, yay for you, okay? If not, I would gently say to you, pause. Just hit pause. Because that's what I did. I had to hit pause. Otherwise, my body was going to shut down, okay? Slowly but surely, my body was shutting down last summer, and I had to pay attention. So, back to tasks. I love these. They are made by a German company, and I'm not sure if it's real leather. I hope not. I'm vegan, so I'm trying to be very mindful. I've just been vegan for about 6-7 months now. So I'm just trying to be more mindful of how I spend, and the things I invest in, material things. In time, the journals that I keep will be of, I would say, more eco-friendly. But I love the color of these, and they last very long, and they're multi-purposeful. So, anywho, I was the queen of making lists and having tons and tons of Post-it notes last year and trying to figure out a system that works for me just so I can stay organized. And it's been a trial and error. It's been a journey. Some people, they love spreadsheets and they love everything digital. So I've met many a spreadsheet king and spreadsheet queen, and that is not me. Okay, that's not me either, because guess what? If the great powers that be that run society, if they ever decide and when they decide to unplug everything and the world goes dark, what do you got? At least we got some pens and paper, okay? Some notebooks for a while anyway. So, I used to write down lists, right? At the beginning of the day, you think, oh, what are the things I have to do today? So you sit there and you write and you write and you write. Now, like I've said before, in the type of environments like education and healthcare, especially in education, you could go in with the game plan of all the things that you're going to do, that you have mapped out for the day. Like they teach us how to professionally prepare lesson plans. Okay? They do. Like the student objective, and then they teach you how to pace yourself, scaffolding, all the great things of pedagogy and leading your classroom as an educator. And so you go in with the game plan, and then let's just say you walk in and they drop 2 new students onto your caseload. Or let's just say there's a student who's in the middle of a serious crisis. Let's just say a meeting didn't go all that well, right? You have all these types of things that play a huge part of your mental capacity and what you're able to contain. And for me, listen, look, let me make sure there's nothing legal. Okay, yeah, it's a blank look. Okay, you see that? See that? Now you would think I started off the day writing a whole list of things to do. Nope, not anymore. What I have now done, which works for me, because when you create lists, you begin to create like this little mental contract with the things that need to get done. Okay. You do. And when you are constantly interrupted, constantly distracted, constantly pulled from one end to the other, and you're going this way, you're just pulled in so many different ways. It's a lot for people who are hypersensitive, okay? Like myself, okay? It's a lot when you're empathic. It's a lot when you just, I'm very sensitive to the environments that I work in, okay? So I just am. And yes, I try to have boundaries, but I'm just really highly susceptible to environmental shifts. And so I'm, in a turbulent environment like a school or a hospital, it's just a lot going on all at once. And so I finally figured how I can trick my mind into not feeling guilty when things don't get done and completed all the way. Why am I sharing this with you? Because I'm very proud of myself for sticking it out and not giving up on finding a system that works for me. So yeah, we live in the digital age where people want to, digitize everything. For me, because I'm very muscle memory, right? Repetition is the first law of learning. And for me, if I can physically touch it and it's tangible, it will stick. I've always done this. Writing out things, it sticks better than me just hitting and striking buttons on an object. So what I decided to do to flip and to trick myself psychologically is I just write the date, the day of the week, and the date. I don't go what's most important, top priority, need, want, urgent. Nope. I allow whatever bubbles up in that very moment. I write it down, and that's what I focus on that moment. When it's complete, I cross it off. You do that all day long. And listen, it's not meant to be perfect because we're imperfect, okay? Because I tried the whole color coding. I tried the whole just getting everything right, priority, urgent, wants, needs. I tried to do that. It doesn't work for me, okay? And you'll find that at the end of the day, you'll see how much you've accomplished, how much you've done. And with this method, it's not like you made the list beforehand and you're like, oh no, I didn't finish it all. Oh my God, now I'm going to have to put this on for tomorrow. No, stop it. You think of a task, right? Just one task. It'd be super simple or something really like to you in that moment, it's urgent. Write it down and then you complete that thing until it's done. And then you cross it off. And then you think of another task and you put it down. Get it done, cross it off. Think of another task, cross it off. Like little things. And I just started this 2 days ago. And I'll be curious to see in the next week or so, when I go back, I am going to highlight, I will color code it and see what works and what doesn't. As far as how I feel, like how did I feel when I was getting this done? Was this an urgent task? Was this a fulfilling task? Did I feel like was I in a good space? Was it stressful, right? And so in time, I'll share with you how this new approach will, how it's working out for sure. I don't want this video to be too long, but I wanted to share this. Give the tasks that need to be completed space and breath and breathing room to breathe. Allow the tasks that need to be done to breathe. And I'm saying this as someone who is literally, I've got so much. There's a lot to do, but this is now becoming more of a meditation and less of an obligation. The only moment that exists is now, the present moment, not yesterday and not tomorrow, not 2 days from now or 2 hours from now. It is this very moment that is most important. And so I'm starting to wake up every day and say, okay, I am here in this moment. I want to be as present as I possibly can be in this moment. And when you are someone like myself, an artsy fartsy, okay, a creative, someone that you need a lot of time to recover, okay, you get just spent, you have beautiful energy, right? But again, if you're in environments that you're misaligned with, you have to find your mode. You have to find your own rhythm, and it's going to look very different from the standard, agenda, organized type of, type A personality. It's going to be very, very different. And so, yes, using organization as a form of a meditation where it's bringing you back to the present. You're not overwhelmed by what you didn't do, and you're not overwhelmed by what you need to do or what you will do, but you are focused, you're underwhelmed, okay? One task at a time until it's complete. Sometimes the tasks take much longer. I'm just now realizing when I'm looking at my list, or that task, I'm like, this is gonna, like I had one task on here that took me 2 hours, right? If I'm in the middle of getting distracted, if there's an emergency or a crisis that pops up, all of a sudden I got to pause. And then what I'll do is when that happens, I write down. Someone has a side conversation with me, I write that down. And I'm like, okay, the conversation's over. I cross it out. And when you look back onto your list of what you're doing, right? When you look back onto the list, you can say, wow, my energy went here. How did I feel? My energy went there. How did I feel? My energy went here. How did it feel? And this is allowing myself to not get fragmented throughout the day. Today was extremely challenging. It just was. And yesterday was lighter. I felt light. I felt present. I felt alive. I felt just more myself, if you will. And today I had a headache. The energy was really, really dense, incredibly dense. So again, it's just riding the wave, because beforehand, the other method I was trying to use, I'll show you guys real quick. And this is just again, you can say brain dump, if you will. I mean, notebooks are a great way to, and this is actually reminding me to journal before I go to bed. But I don't really think I have enough energy for that right now. Right? Guys, I'm trying to find, I don't put too much, it's not like I have anything super private in here. It's literally just brain dump for work and tasks, I'm trying to find it where it's, But yeah, I'll give you an idea of what I tried to, but yeah, I don't want to overwhelm you guys. Yeah, see this, right? I tried to be all like, oh, look at me, look how organized, right? It's so interesting. If you keep journals of any kind, you can always go back and wow, this is where my mind was at. This is the space I was in, this is the type of energy I'm in. But yeah, I wanted to just share that, just breathe. Because when we come back to the moment, what do we have? We have the breath. We can, we receive and then we release. And that can bring us right back to the moment. Because that's all we have, really. That's all we have. And yeah, it's just, I think it's a very powerful psychological little trick. You can, for those of you guys that are creatives, or you're working multiple jobs that are demanding, you're running, a household, or you have your marriage, you got kids going A to B and all that other stuff. I mean, it can get really hectic. And then at the end of the day, you don't know where your energy went. Then you still feel like you didn't accomplish anything. That's another thing. I've always kind of I guess I'm not that valuable or worthy. Look at me. Am I not working hard enough? And it's like, when I look back on this list, right, in the next few days, I'm like, actually, no, I am doing a lot, or wow, this is where my energy's going. And you can get really, nitty gritty with it, I guess, right? You can start with your morning routine. You write down what you do for your morning routine. what brings you a lot of peace. Write down the tasks that are most stressful. And when you go back, you're gonna be like, ooh, okay, this is where the color coding comes in, which I'll probably get into another time. But I just wanted to share my thought process in dealing as a highly sensitive person, and how I deal with currently a very demanding and stressful type of environment. Okay. Yeah. So with that, thank you so much. And may this message find you well and whole. Remember to breathe. Give your tasks space to expand. Don't restrict yourself and you gotta do all the time. It's important to be in the moment. Focus on one thing at a time. In some crazy reason, I don't know, maybe it's a Western culture thing, they tell us to focus on 50 different things at the same time, and the brain can't do that. The brain is amazing, but the brain can't, it's almost like saying, hey, we need you to play 5 different instruments all at the same time, and we need you to play them well, and we need you to play them in tune all at the same time. You, one person, you're playing 5 different instruments. Absolutely not. And I've seen the one man band, right? Which is very, very impressive. But not all of us are built for that, okay? And so, yes. May this message find you well and whole. I'm going to go straight to bed. I've got nothing left. I will say what I do have left, I'm grateful for, and I'm sharing it with you. And this is keeping me sane. Okay. Journals keep you sane. Nothing else. Doom scrolling it just can't do anything else for you. Right. Okay. Thank you so much. And I will see you guys Saturday. Bye.